sorry about that, pre-K. So let's begin. Remember, we left off where the gopher and the mole just popped out of the ground. Then gopher and mole tunnel up from the ground. We have warm honey nuts. Let's pass them around. There's a flap and a flitter and a flurry in the den, when in flutters owl with raven and wren. We have pears from the tree and herbs to brew tea. And there's our bear. And there the feathery friends flew in. And the bear says, wait. Bear mutters and he stutters and he wears a big frown. Bear sighs and he moans and he plops himself down. You have brought yummy treats. You are so nice to share. But me, I have nothing. My cupboards are bare. And see, he shows them his cupboards. Nothing in there. Mouse squeaks, don't fret. There's enough, dear bear. You don't need any food. You have stories to share. His friends hug him tight. You'll be all right. And the bear says, what does he say? Thanks. And there they are, making him feel better. They lay out their feast on a quilt on the ground, and the bear takes a seat while his friends gather around. And they are gathering all their things, preparing their feast. And there's Bear waiting. In a cave in the woods, in a warm, bright lair, the friends feel grateful for their good friend Bear. They pass around platters, they tweet and they chatter. And they all say, let's say it, thanks. And that brings the end of our story. And there goes Ben, the bear, back in his den. It's all so blustery outside, just like today. Okay, let's finish with our favorite character, Pete the cat, brand new book, and it's called Falling for Autumn. Remember, that was the new season we started back in October. It is the first day of fall, and Pete the cat is feeling blue. I like summer better, he says. In summer I can swim and surf and play at the beach. Maybe you just need to remind yourself of all the things you love about autumn, Mom suggests. Pete says, I'll try. Let's see if he thinks of all the things we love about the fall. Pete finds Grandma in the kitchen. She's baking delicious pumpkin pies. The whole house smells sweet and spicy. Pete loves helping Grandma bake pumpkin pie, but he likes eating it even more. Okay, Grandma putting her pumpkin pie in the oven. After the baking is done, Pete picks a squat orange pumpkin from the counter and slips it into his backpack as a souvenir. Is he going to take the big one or the small one? I think you're right. I think the small one to fit in that backpack. Next, Pete heads to the town corn maze. Pete and his friends wander through the long, twisty paths made of tall corn stalks. The best part of the corn maze is getting lost and having to start all over. How many went to a corn maze? Yeah, they're fun, aren't they? As he leaves, Pete plucks a golden corn cob from the maze and places it inside his backpack. Okay, what else did he have in that backpack? That's right, a pumpkin. Pete visits Grandpa, who is knitting on the porch. Grandpa helps Pete use the knitting needles to knit the yarn into cool patterns. Together, Pete and Grandpa make a long, cozy scarf for Pete to wear. Okay. When they're done, Pete chooses a little ball of leftover yarn and places it, where's he going to put it? And that's right, in his backpack. So he has, let's see if we can remember what he has. A pumpkin, a corn, and now he has some yarn. Next, Pete goes to the hayride at the park. Pete, Bob, Mom, Dad, and Grandpa all pile into a wagon filled with hay. They go on a bumpy wagon ride around the park. Okay. Show of hands. Who loves to go on a hayride? Sure, we all do. At the end of the ride, what do you think Pete's going to take? He's going to take a handful of sweet-smelling hay from the wagon. And where's he going to put it? That's right, in his backpack. He stuffs it in his backpack. Pete heads over to the apple orchard where he and Callie go apple picking. They eat sweet apple donuts, yum, and drink hot apple cider, yum again, and fills their buckets with apples of all different sizes and shapes. Before he leaves, Pete chooses a round red apple, and where's he going to put it? You're right, in his backpack. Let's see if we remember. A pumpkin, a corn, a ball of yarn, and now a red apple. Now, let's not forget the hay from the hayride. Next, Pete stops by the park. He plays touch football with Bob and their friends. Pete scores a touchdown and everyone cheers. After the game, Pete grabs Bob's football and stuffs it into his backpack. It barely fits. Bob won't mind if I borrow this, Pete says. Look at, very stuffed. The pumpkin, the corn, the hay, the football now, and the yarn, plus the apple, all stuffed in that backpack. Finally, Pete heads back home, but he stops in his front yard, which is covered in bright leaves falling from the trees. Pete helps his dad rake the leaves into big, colorful mounds. Then Pete runs and jumps into all the leaf piles. Such fun. After he's done jumping, Pete picks a bunch of red and gold and orange leaves, and that's right, he's going to stuff it into his backpack. Pete's backpack is bursting with fall souvenirs. He can't wait to show Mom. I love autumn, Pete says. Wonderful, says Mom. You know, these would make great decorations for Thanksgiving. So Pete helps Mom fill a basket with all his mementos. They place the basket at the center of the table. You did a great job, Pete, says Mom. It's beautiful, says Dad. Is that my football? Asks Bob. And just then the doorbell rings. Okay, so he takes everything out of his backpack and look at a nice centerpiece for Thanksgiving table. Okay, the pumpkin, the apple, the leaves, the corn, the ball of yarn. Don't forget the hay, plus Bob's football. The Thanksgiving guests are here. All of Pete's family and friends gather around the dining room table. They tell stories and laugh at jokes while they eat. Everyone's having a great time. Pete looks around the table and smiles. He loves lots of things about autumn, but Pete knows that what he loves most all year long. Let's see, what does he love the most? Of course, his family and friends. The end. Plus, look at big piece of pumpkin pie. The end. Okay, boys and girls, that takes us to the end of our library time together. But you do have a coloring sheet, I think, that your teacher will hand out to you. So I will see you soon. Bye.